Oliver's Grand Adventure in Neverland. On a breezy night in London, Oliver lay in his bed, staring up at the ceiling. The moonlight cast shadows that danced around his room, and his mind was filled with dreams of adventure. Little did he know that an adventure was about to come to him in the most unexpected way. As he was about to drift off to sleep, a faint jingling sound reached his ears. He rubbed his eyes and sat up, trying to figure out where the noise was coming from. To his astonishment, he saw a tiny glowing figure flitting around his room. It was Tinker Bell. "Hello, Oliver. My name is Tinker Bell, and I have a special invitation for you," the tiny fairy said, her voice like the twinkling of bells. "A special invitation?" Oliver repeated, still in shock. "Yes, it's from Peter Pan," Tinker Bell replied, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "He wants you to join us in Neverland for an adventure. Are you ready?" Oliver's heart raced with excitement. He had read stories about Peter Pan and Neverland, and the idea of meeting Peter Pan and flying with him was beyond his wildest dreams. "I'm ready!" Oliver exclaimed, jumping out of bed. "Great! Hold on tight to my hand, and I'll take you to Neverland," Tinker Bell said, extending her tiny hand to Oliver. Oliver took her hand, and in the blink of an eye, they were soaring through the night sky. The cool breeze whipped through Oliver's hair as he looked down at the twinkling lights of London below. They flew past stars and clouds until they finally reached the magical land of Neverland. Neverland was more beautiful than Oliver had ever imagined. The lush forests, sparkling rivers, and towering mountains created a breathtaking landscape. They landed in a clearing where a boy with a green tunic and a mischievous grin was waiting for them. "Welcome to Neverland, Oliver. I'm Peter Pan," the boy said, extending his hand to Oliver. "We're going to have an amazing adventure together." "It's so nice to meet you, Peter Pan," Oliver said, shaking Peter's hand. "I've always wanted to fly like you." "Well, you're in luck," Peter said with a grin. "In Neverland, we can do anything we want. Come on, let me introduce you to the Lost Boys." Peter led Oliver to a cozy hideout where a group of boys were gathered around a campfire. They all looked up and greeted Oliver with friendly smiles. Oliver felt an instant connection with the Lost Boys, and they welcomed him as one of their own. After a hearty meal of fairy cakes and stories by the campfire, Peter stood up and said, "There's something important we need to do. Captain Hook has been causing trouble again, and we need to stop him. Are you ready, Oliver?" Oliver's heart pounded with excitement and a hint of nervousness. He knew that Captain Hook was Peter Pan's sworn enemy, and facing him would be a real test of bravery. "I'm ready," Oliver said, his voice steady and determined. "That's the spirit," Peter said, clapping Oliver on the shoulder. "Let's go." With Tinker Bell leading the way, they flew through the forest to Captain Hook's ship, the Jolly Roger. The ship was anchored in a hidden cove, and the sound of pirate laughter echoed through the night. Peter signaled for everyone to be quiet as they approached the ship. "We need to come up with a plan," Peter whispered. "Captain Hook is a tricky pirate, and we need to outsmart him." Oliver's mind raced as he thought of a plan. "What if we create a distraction to lure the pirates away from the ship? Then we can sneak on board and rescue the prisoners." "That's a brilliant idea, Oliver," Peter said with a grin. "Let's do it." They split into two groups. Peter and Tinker Bell would create the distraction while Oliver and the Lost Boys would sneak onto the ship. Peter and Tinker Bell flew around the ship, creating dazzling displays of light and sound that caught the pirates' attention. "Look alive, men! Intruders!" Captain Hook shouted, drawing his sword. As the pirates scrambled to investigate the commotion, Oliver and the Lost Boys quietly climbed aboard the Jolly Roger. They made their way to the brig, where they found a group of prisoners, including some of the Lost Boys who had been captured earlier. "We're here to rescue you," Oliver whispered as he unlocked the cells. The prisoners' faces lit up with gratitude as they were freed. "Thank you, Oliver," one of the lost boys said. "You're a true hero." "We're not out of the woods yet," Oliver replied. "We need to get off this ship before the pirates return." Just as they were about to make their escape, Captain Hook and his crew stormed back onto the ship, furious at being tricked. "You think you can outsmart me, Peter Pan? Think again." Captain Hook snarled, pointing his sword at Peter. Peter met Captain Hook's gaze with unwavering determination. "We're not afraid of you, Hook. We'll never let you win." The pirates advanced, and a fierce battle ensued. Oliver fought alongside Peter and the lost boys, their courage unwavering in the face of danger. Despite being outnumbered, they fought bravely, using their wits and teamwork to overcome the pirates. As the battle raged on, Oliver found himself face to face with Captain Hook. The pirate's menacing grin sent chills down his spine, but he stood his ground. "You've got guts, kid," Captain Hook sneered. "But you'll never defeat me." Oliver took a deep breath and remembered the lessons he had learned from Peter and the lost boys. With a surge of courage, he swung his sword and engaged Captain Hook in a fierce duel. The clang of swords echoed through the air as they fought, neither willing to back down. With a final, determined strike, Oliver disarmed Captain Hook, sending his sword flying into the sea. The pirates stared at Oliver in disbelief, defeated. "This isn't over," Captain Hook growled as he retreated with his crew. "We did it!" Peter exclaimed, clapping Oliver on the back. "You were amazing, Oliver. Thank you for your bravery." "We couldn't have done it without you," Tinker Bell added, her wings shimmering with pride. As they watched the Jolly Roger sail away, Oliver felt a sense of accomplishment and pride. He had faced his fears and proven that courage and friendship could overcome any challenge. "You're always welcome in Neverland, Oliver," Peter said with a smile. "You're one of us now." "Thank you, Peter," Oliver replied. "I'll never forget this adventure." As the sun began to rise, it was time for Oliver to return home. Tinker Bell sprinkled him with fairy dust, and they flew back to London. When they arrived, Oliver found himself back in his bed, the night's adventure feeling like a wonderful dream. But as he looked out the window, he saw a tiny glimmer of light that made him smile. He knew that Neverland was real, and that the friendships and lessons he had gained there would stay with him forever. With a heart full of courage and dreams of future adventures, Oliver drifted off to sleep, ready to face whatever challenges life had in store for him.
Created by a kid and their parent using Talebot, click the link in the video description to create your own story.